Hi, I'm Lauren Blanchard-Porian. I'm the coordinator for the Services for Students with Disabilities office at Loyola University Chicago. And I've worked here for almost 8 years. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about our process for housing and meal plan accommodations or meal plan exemptions, and just what steps a student would need to take and how that involves other offices like Residence Life or Aramark and dining services. For both cases, we work with students one-on-one. We usually will complete an intake appointment with the student either in person or over the phone. So if you are out of town and have not moved to campus yet, no worries. We'll talk with you over the phone. It's really important for us to get a good sense of the student's perspective on how their condition affects them directly, whether that's related to their housing environment or their dietary needs. So we also will work with students to explain our documentation guidelines. So they'll share the appropriate set of guidelines with their treating physician for the diagnosis. And that physician would then send us documentation either by email or fax or regular mail. And we'll take a look at the documentation and also consider the feedback that we got from the student. And based on that, we will determine what appropriate and reasonable accommodations would be. Ideally with the goal of making the environment, whether it's living or dietary environment, as accessible as possible for that student. So with the housing accommodations, we send a recommendation to Residence Life. And once that recommendation has been processed, Residence Life will work really hard to find an appropriate place for the student that meets those accommodation needs. And if the request is received later, ResLife will still consider that recommendation, and the student might be put on a wait list until an appropriate space opens up. With the meal plan accommodations, we want to help to facilitate the conversation between the student and our dining services staff. So usually what we'll do is send an email or start a phone conversation with the dining services staff regarding the student and help them to exchange information so that they can be in touch directly. And Aramark will work with students for their meal plans and finding out, what dining hall that student's going to be eating at, and times that they typically are eating in the dining halls, and what if the student has food allergies, what are their restrictions, and just getting at students as much information as they can to meet their needs. And then with the meal plan exemption, if a student is requesting the exemption, if SSWD makes the recommendation for the exemption, we will send that response to Residence Life, and then it's up to the student to actually submit the exemption form to the Residence Life office directly. And then the student would receive an update from Residence Life once that process is complete. And then for the housing accommodations, once SSWD has sent a recommendation to Residence Life, then Residence Life will follow up with the student and notify them of what their placement will be. So that is the bare bones of the process. For other questions or concerns that come up for students, we encourage them to stay in touch with us at all times and let us know if there's any questions or concerns that they have. We just want to make sure that we're doing our part to both partner with other offices on campus and also meet the needs of students.